Hi, I'm Susan, and today we're going to talk about planning objects and missing periods. What is a planning object and how do we create one? This is an example of a common planning level, week, prod, load, cust. It's all about planning levels. Time root is important, but periods within the root are not linked to planning objects though. We'll talk about periods later. To create planning objects for week, prod, load, cust, we will not automatically also create planning objects for cal, week, prod, load, cust. You have to make sure both are covered in your strategy. Currency is also important. To create planning objects for week, prod, load, cust will not automatically create planning objects for week, prod, load, cust currency either. You must account for both in your strategy. Master data values is the key. Combinations of master data values are called planning objects. Planning objects must exist for all planning levels. Start at the lowest level. Create them here. Methods for creating at the lowest level. You can use your master data workbook. You can use that Excel single tool that you have on your ribbon. You can use CPI or cloud integration. You can also upload data integration. When you do, you can load either nulls or data. It doesn't make any difference. Either way, you will create a planning object. Load any key figure that shares this planning level. And all key figures that share this planning level will present themselves with planning objects. Some people create a special key figure just to manage planning objects. Once your most detailed planning level contains planning objects, you can use it as a source for other planning levels. Use a copy operator. Assign your low-level key figure as the source. The copy operator setting is Generate Missing Planning Objects. What about missing periods? In this case, it's all about key figure functionality. When planning objects already exist, time periods in some of the key figures may not be initialized. No nulls or values exist. Individual key figures are affected, which causes confusion if you are not aware of this principle. In this example, the location plan at week, prod, load, cust has a missing period in week 2, but the market key figure, which shares the same planning level, does not. These are not missing planning objects. These are missing periods. Time buckets for a key figure at the base planning level. These are periods. If you enter data or load at an aggregate level, disaggregation won't happen in time buckets with missing periods. Calculations that read a different planning level will not compute if a period is missing. To the untrained eye, calculations that fail due to missing periods cause confusion and frustration. Sometimes planner behavior can inadvertently create a missing period. When missing periods are accidentally created, the problem can appear to magically correct itself without any explanation. How to create missing periods? Uploading nulls or data into the key figure itself will create periods and planning objects all at the same time. But unfortunately, if you're loading data at an aggregate level, it will not correct a low-level problem. But copy operators work. You may notice there's a setting, Generate Missing Periods, in the copy operator settings. If a planning object already exists, you can use a copy operator to create periods with only the target key figure. No source key figure is necessary. This is a good rule of thumb to follow. Generate missing periods for any key figure that planners manually maintain because you never know when they may aggregate into a month or aggregate up to a higher level. So you always run this, you'll never have any issues at the lowest level, data will always disaggregate. And of course, if you're ever loading data either through the integration, the data integration, or the CPI, and you're doing it at an aggregate level, always generate missing periods for those key figures as well. This is an example of a planning object and missing period strategy. You can use the cloud integration to load nulls into an attribute as key figure on the customer source table. The customer source table has product, customer, and location. So anytime you have a new combination of product, customer, location, you also populate that attribute as key figure with a null value. Then use a copy operator to copy the nulls into other more aggregate planning levels. Use the copy operator setting, generate missing periods to create the correct time periods. And then regularly run missing periods to initialize new periods as the time series rolls. Copy operator may be replaced by new key figure formula that was offered as of November 2020. This formula, if you integrate it into your key figure calculation, may do away with copy operator functionality for generate missing periods. Normalization may require replacing the attribute as key figure with a CPI direct upload into a key figure. In other words, instead of using attribute as key figure, whenever you update your master data table with the new combinations, at the same time you also run a CPI job that loads a null into one of the time buckets for that new combination. And then you can proceed from there, run a copy operator for the lowest level to generate periods across the horizon, and then copy them upward into the higher levels. And there you have it. It should be smooth sailing from here. Thanks very much.